Hello everybody and welcome to Mission Alive. With so many things that we can't do during this pandemic, coronavirus, we have to think of the things that we can do. So one of the things that we can do is sing. I think we should sing a lot. So let's begin today by singing. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, nod your head. If you're happy and you know it, nod your head. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, nod your head. If you're happy and you know it, pull your ear. If you're happy and you know it, pull your ear. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, pull your ear. If you're happy and you know it, touch your nose. If you're happy and you know it, touch your nose. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, touch your nose. If you're happy and you know it, show it. Make sure you show it. Well, I'd like to talk to you today about a place where I worked on Ferguson Island. You know, you should get a map sometime and look and find these wonderful places. They're magical lands. There's 3 special islands, Goodenough, Normanby and Ferguson. And of them, Ferguson is the volcanic island. Right down the southern end where the mission station is, there's a great volcano. They say it's dormant, but many a time our fridge in the kitchen danced and hopped around and cups made a noise and it was moving. So this volcano was right at the back of the mission. There was the grass where you came up from the wharf. It was very beautiful. Then there was the business area, Father's house, the mission, the church. Then there was the area for the school. And then at the back, this great volcano going up. So one day I was in class teaching, and one of the boys stood up to bring his book out to show me what he was doing. And as he stood up, he looked out the window. He said to me, "Sister, look." I said, "What are you looking at? We should be looking at our work." He said, "No, sister, look." Everybody stood up to look, so I looked. And there, coming up the path, was a little whirlwind. It was spinning. You could see it. You could actually see it. I'd never seen anything like it before. A whirlwind spinning up the path. It was like a little child running away from its mother. And then, just at that moment, one of the nurses came out from the nursing school to light a fire to burn the rubbish. And just as the nurse took that match and struck it, the little whirlwind jumped up over to the fire, took it, and up the hill of the volcano. What happened? The whole side of the volcano went up in fire. There was fire. Everybody was shouting, everybody was calling, everybody was running. There was no need to tell anybody to go out of school. Everybody just went out of school, trying to get buckets. The boys, they chased the wild pigs. The fire drove the wild pigs down the hill of the volcano into the schoolyard. So boys were running around shouting, catching wild pigs. The wild pigs were squealing. The small children were squealing because they were so happy, and we were catching wild pigs while this fire was burning. It wasn't really doing any harm. It was just burning off the bush. Then suddenly it started to move towards the south. It started to move down towards the end of the island. The whole fire seemed to start to move. It moved down. Fortunately, there weren't any villages in the way. The villages were closer to the coast, right along the edge of the coast. So this was up in bushland, and the bush was burning, but the fire went on and on and on, right around, until it came to a village called Sour Eddy. People at Sour Eddy had heard the noise, had heard the shouting. People had gone running to tell them they were ready. They had buckets of water, they were wetting things, they were getting things wet so the fire wouldn't burn their houses. And then suddenly, as the fire got to Sour Eddy, the wind changed and it started to come back to us. So everybody started shouting, "It's coming back, it's coming back." People running along the road calling out, "It's coming back, it's coming back." The fire was coming back to us. Quickly, the children got everything out of the classroom, their books and the chalk and posters and charts and anything that they could carry out of the classroom they took out. Because our roof was only leaf roof and it was going to go up. And if the leaf roof burnt, then the whole classroom would burn. So suddenly the boys were up on the roof, no ladders, they were just up like monkeys. The girls were running backwards and forwards, right down to the convent. right down near the coast to get buckets of water at the pump. The little ones were there pumping water, and the girls were catching it in the bucket on their heads, running back up to the school, giving it to the boys, and the boys pouring it onto the roof. Then the little ones would take the buckets and they'd run ahead. The girls would walk down. By the time they got down there, the buckets were full. They'd bring it back again. So this went on and on late into the afternoon. It was getting dark. The fire was still coming. It was travelling more slowly now. It was still big, but it was travelling more slowly. And as it came closer, the men built a fire break between the village and the school to try and stop it burning both places. And we kept on fighting it with these buckets of water, soaking everything, every classroom roof with buckets of water. Thanks be to God we had that pump. It was dark. We were running backwards and forwards. I was running backwards and forwards. I was running backwards and forwards with Sister Ben. She jumped over a ditch because she had big, long legs. I didn't know there was a ditch there. I just kept running. And so what happened? I disappeared down the ditch. I completely disappeared down the ditch. Sister Ben turned around and said, Sister Helen, where are you? Where are you? I said, I'm here. And she came and looked down, called somebody, called the men. The men came and pulled me out. I was a very sorry sight. Covered in mud. But we'd won the day. The fire had been put out. Nothing had really been lost. Some of the classrooms, the edges were singed, but that was not too bad. So you see, in missions, you have to be everything. You have to be the teacher. You have to be the nurse, like Sister Ben. You have to be the cook, like I was in the kitchen. You have to be the fire brigade, because there's nobody else around, only those who are on the mission. The people, the missionaries, and the children. It's a good way to be. We don't have to worry about calling fire brigades and ambulance. We're there. We're there to help the people, and the people are there to help us. So you be around to help others this week. God bless for now.